Hi, welcome back to The Empowered Woman with Alicia Soikawa. And today we're going to talk about masks and how everybody wears a mask. And this is something I learned. I went to Team's Growth Retreat with Tom Perry, and he invited the incredible Chase Hughes to talk to us. And he was just on a bunch of podcasts like Joe Rogan and A Diary of a CEO, and he's 1 million followers, and he's quite impressive. Very deliberate, impressive man talking about neurology, neuroscientists, and how we do things and why we do things. And he basically gave 2 universal truths are everyone wears a mask and everyone pretends not to wear a mask. Which is true. This episode's a little vulnerable because it's talking about, it's really important and probably really important topic because we're talking about the masks we wear in life and in business and how we can finally be aware of them and take them off. And awareness is really key. I think personal awareness, and Gary Vaynerchuk talks about that as well. So many people walk around unaware, and I think when you're unaware of how you make other people feel about your spatial place, your relationships, it's really hard to grow in the personal growth world and mindset world, because if you're caught up in your own bubble of me, it's very difficult to grow and get out of yourself. So when we think about masks in general, you have to think about, why are we wearing that mask? Typically you wear a mask because of judgment. That's the number one reason, he said, why people don't like public speak. And that's like the biggest fear, they always say, right? Over anything else. Fear of dying, fear of anything else is public speaking, which clearly I don't have a problem with because I do that. But I'm sure there was a time where I was like, ugh. And I do get the butterflies and it feels weird, but I think that's just like excitement. Honestly, I think when you think of what I'm afraid about being judged on is when I was younger, for sure, I was very concerned about being rejected. Like, you're not good enough. It's always about being enough. It's just crazy how that is like universal for every single person. He kind of pointed that out. He spoke for quite a while. He spoke twice at this event, which is kind of rare for a keynote. I just thought it was interesting. Most people don't even realize they're wearing a mask. They're just wearing it because we've been so trained to show up a certain way with our families, with their spouses, with their friends, with their children. If you go to a certain type of job, maybe you're even literally covering up your tattoos if you are in a really conservative place and you have tattoos everywhere. Or, I wear makeup. Like, technically women get up every morning and put their makeup on and do their hair, and I color my hair. If you think about it, little masks that make us feel better about ourselves and how we're presenting ourselves. And I think it's important to know, what does mask wearing look like for women in business and in life? And are you performing in that mask for approval, or are you doing something that's out of character of who you truly want to be? And inside yourself, you're like, this isn't me, I'm just showing up. And you're kind of starting to build resentment for having to show up with that mask on. I don't know if this lands with you, but if it does, this is the video for you. You have to think about it. If we're pretending not to wear a mask, but we are, it's exhausting, number one. I think that definitely leads to burnout for women and men. And it keeps us disconnected from who we truly are and not in alignment, just like we talked about before. I think that energy is really what brings you into a place of resentment, bitterness, frustration, and then can leak out into having conflict in your life. That may be why it's so important to really pay attention to what masks are you putting on that is preventing you from showing up authentically in your life in general, especially in your personal life and definitely in your business. And if you're in business, if you're running a business, if you're in real estate like me, showing up authentically is almost so crucial in really connecting with people and having them feel that they can trust you. Because if you are showing up not yourself and authentic and you're wearing a mask, there's something that's off that sometimes your clients can't tell, or colleagues, what it is, but something's not right. And that's an energy you're putting out because it's not really who you are. And it's really true when you think about that. It's kind of creepy. Empowered women do lead differently. And what I say is that if you're an empowered woman, you're not going to lead out of fear. You're not going to lead out of jealousy. You're not going to lead out of trying to intimidate and bully people. If you're really empowered and you are true in your own presence and self and knowing yourself, then you don't really need to worry about the approval of other people. You're good with who you are. You're grounded. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that everything's put together. It just means you're okay with showing people who you really are. Pretty interesting, right? One of the things that he spoke about in the meeting, and I have my notes here, I've got to find them because it was so good, that he talked about, and I highlighted it, and it was such a relevant thing, is that we judge people for behavior that we think we do a better job at hiding. We judge people for behavior that we think we do a better job at hiding. And I was like, wow, it's true. It's very true. So that's something to think about, right? Are we judging other people because we're actually hiding that behavior and we're feeling that we don't like that within ourselves? So we're going to judge the other person for having it. It's kind of important to think about, right? And when you're thinking about the mask that you wear, think about why you wear that mask. Is it to get approval from someone? Is it to appease someone? Is it to be accepted in a group or in an office setting, in a business setting, because you want people to think of you a certain way? And you have to think about when you're authentic, it does build trust and connection and freedom. And not only is it better for your business and life, it's better for you and your whole well-being. I can't imagine what that must do inside of your bodies. It's kind of like they say stress kills and stress creates cancer and all that negative stuff in your body. It is something that you really need to think about and shifting that and to be successful. That's a success mind shift right there for sure. And when you take off that mask, you're not going to lose your power. I think that's the biggest fear people have, is that they're going to lose their power if they take that mask off. And what they don't realize is that they're going to launch if they take that mask off. For myself, I was kind of scared for a long time to show up and to even answer the question and say, like, I don't know, like, let me go find out. For a long time, I didn't want to say that. And I noticed newer agents in real estate also say that I don't want to push someone because I don't know everything yet. And they don't believe it's okay to not know the answer. And that's what is like a commonality I'm seeing with a lot of agents out there. You're not supposed to know everything. We're kind of just winging it. I mean, every business person that'll talk to you, very few know what's going on all the time. Half the time, they don't even know what's going on in half of their departments. They're just going with it and they're leading. And I think it's fascinating to think that one human being is supposed to know everything all the time. It's ridiculous, right? It even sounds ridiculous when you say it. However, you'll pressure yourself to know all the things all the time. I think the biggest thing for me is when I went up to Chase after the conference, I found him and he was talking to a colleague of mine. He's out of New Jersey, and I don't want to say her name because I don't like to call people out since this is online. But she kind of just brought up, you know, she had to wear the mask in her mind, put on the good real estate agent mask because her son was really ill in the hospital and she had to show up for some showings. And she showed up and did all these showings, and she kind of said to Chase, like, what, am I supposed to just not go to the showings and not show up? Like, just because my son's in the hospital? Yes, it's horrible, but he's stable. But I'm carrying this all on me as a mother. He was kind of quiet and he looked at him and I was looking at him because I was really excited to see what this answer was going to be. And he said, well, that's your choice. Like, really quiet. And she's like, no, it's not a choice. She was very defensive in a loving way, because I don't know if she'll see this video. This is right in line with her. And he goes, well, what if you just said, hey, I have a fear. The fear is that you're not going to be doing a good job. And that's why you feel like you have to show up that way. And what if instead you went to your client and said, hey, I might be a little off today. I got some things going on. My son's sick. Just want to assure you, one of my biggest fears is that I'm going to show up here and you're going to think I'm not going to do a good job for you. I just want to assure you that I have everything handled. I'm going to do an excellent job for you today. And if I'm a little bit off, that's why. And I was like, wow, that's like so amazing. She didn't compromise herself. She shared. She was open and she was vulnerable. But she also confirmed and verified and clarified to her client that I still got you. I'm professional. I'm going to take care of you. But I'm a human being. I have these things going on. So that would be an example, I think, of taking that mask off and sharing with people. You know, I often share with my clients that I coach with my journey, the things I struggle with, because I'm human and I have bad days and I have days that I don't show up the way I really want to show up and I'm embarrassed sometimes. And I think it's really important to own those things and to know you're a human being and you're allowed to make mistakes and you're allowed to start over again, because every day is a new day. How you can step into your authentic self if you struggle with that is having questions for alignment for yourself. Like, first, ask yourself, is this true to me? Am I performing or am I expressing? Are you performing or are you expressing? Are you performing or are you expressing? That's a good check for you, right? And I think too, there is a role, and when I say energy healing, and I use that a lot because everything is energy in the world, right? Are you calm when you're at home? Are you in your head running around? Like, what energy do you have? Do you know how to calm yourself? Do you know how to take deep breaths? Do you know the things that put you back to level? Because I think a lot of us have peaks and valleys, but how do you get calm? I think tools for tuning in for me, definitely deep breathing, meditating, journaling my thoughts. I'm a spitballer, meaning like I got to get everything out of me and just talk about it all and sort everything outside of my brain. And then I can make a decision. Some people need to retreat and be within themselves and quiet and they'll figure it out. You got to figure that out for you. Music, I love to listen to music. I like to walk, and be in nature. I like to just be with my family. Sometimes if it's a big business decision, just being with your family and away from it all completely, just disconnecting, gives you clarity when you come back and you can go, now I can see better. The success mindset is not about pretending or showing up. And when I talk about being in the identity of who you want to be, that's not pretending. That's like showing up as your future self. That's different. I think people misinterpret what we're saying. It's about making sure that you're not being authentic to who you want, what you want in life to show up that way. It's like if you really don't want to work with a client and then you show up and you're forcing yourself just because you think it's for the money, it's not really in alignment with you. In the long run, you're going to lose money and you're going to miss an opportunity with someone that could be really perfect with you. That's something that's really hard to do. That's trusting. And that is kind of an idea of how you have to really start working on that little by little. It's not going to happen overnight. It may not happen in a month, but over time, you'll start seeing a shift in yourself. I know for me, I've had made huge leaps and bounds and shifts and growth, but it has not been in a month, 2 months, a year. It's been years. Like every year I feel like I change. Now it's like monthly and weekly. For sure, you aren't meant to shrink in this world. You aren't meant to be small. You are not meant to pretend to be something you're not. You're born divinely as yourself to show up with the gifts that you're supposed to have to give to the world. I believe that wholeheartedly. You're meant to be in your own truth, whatever that is for you. So don't hesitate to go digging and finding out what that is for you, what you need to land. And if this resonates with you, it's kind of deep and vulnerable, like I said, and you're feeling you're wearing a mask, I'd love to have a conversation with you and walk that walk with you. So book a free one-to-one with me and love to have a conversation about that and talk about who you really are, what mask you wear, and how can we get you out of that habit little by little. So until next time, talk to you soon.